Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. This morning, I'd like to talk about two things. First is a new trend in the cashew industry, and secondly, talk about fake news within the cashew industry, right? The first topic is about a new trend which is emerging in different African countries, right? This is not about Vietnam or India, but I'm talking about specifically African country where cashew processing is on the rise. We've noticed a new trend over the past few years in Africa about cashew processing, whereby the local government or the national government will allow the factories to get their raw material first before they allow other people to buy, other players to act. So in countries like Mozambique, they've been practicing it for the past few years, whereby when the cashew season open, they will only allow factories to buy, get all the supply they need for their factory, and then open up the season to other actors, other players. That same policy has been adopted in other countries, like recently Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. Um, I heard that Benin also has done it. Um, Other countries like I'm not too sure about Ghana, Tanzania possibly. Very careful. I need to verify. But it's a new trend which is happening in various African countries. The idea is to support local processing. I think Africans have come to realize that the only way to benefit from its raw material, whether it's cashew nuts, cocoa, rubber, and any other commodity, there need to be some added value, which starts with processing. The commodities have to be processed first before they can export it. Because currently, or over the past half century, 50 years, African countries have been exported the raw commodities, the commodities as raw, okay? Whether it's cocoa, coffee, rubber, and recently cashew. And the continent has not been benefiting from doing so. So the new trend is for African countries to go into processing. And one way to support factories is to allow them to get access to raw material, which is to be encouraged. However, there will be some consequences. There will be some disruption within the market. Some of the actors will feel frustrated because they have no longer access to the raw material. When I take the case of Cote d'Ivoire, the exporters are struggling to get access to raw material for export, right? The traders and all these actors. But personally, I think the priority should be given to the factory. Allow the factory to have raw material for processing, create jobs for the local community, empower women, employment for youth. I think that's much more beneficial. And also, when the government export, the added value will bring some more return rather than exporting it raw. Okay. The other consequence will be for the major processor in the world, Vietnam and India. They will struggle, especially Vietnam. Vietnam is very dependent on African country raw material, and once those countries stop exporting raw, there will be a major problem in Vietnam. Even though the country has anticipated this problem by focusing on its neighboring country called Cambodia, right? But this year, for example, Cambodia experienced a 10 to 30% production drop due to the weather condition called El Nino, right? Which means that Cambodia is not entirely reliable. So Vietnam will have to think about how to guarantee raw material for their factories. They're the number one player in the world, and they need raw material to keep that position. Locally, I wonder whether something can be done locally for Vietnam. but certainly they have to do